Real growth doesn't happen out loud. If you want to truly evolve, you need to accept this simple rule. Those who announce too much build very little. The Stoics understood something most people ignore. Every single time you turn your own process into a showcase, you lose two things that change demands: focus and energy. Most people like the idea of transformation, but very few accept the price it charges. True growth demands a trade. You give up immediate validation to build something that lasts. You trade the rush of being recognized for the patience of becoming someone better. Because real change asks for patience before recognition and structure before applause. When you abandon the constant need to prove who you are, something shifts. Your attention returns to where it always should have been: your actions. This is the moment when evolution stops depending on motivation and starts depending on your habits. The formula stays simple: train, study, and disappear. Training strengthens your character, studying widens your vision, and disappearing means protecting your focus, avoiding unnecessary distractions, and putting an end to wasting energy trying to impress people who do not build your future. Those who live this way don't need to look strong. Their strength ends up becoming obvious. In this video, you're going to learn Stoic principles that help you develop this mindset, strengthen your discipline, and build results that speak louder than any speech. Hold on to this idea. Those who work in silence tend to go further. Now let's begin. Principle 1. Force yourself to trust yourself. If you want to change your life, force yourself to believe in yourself, not as hope, not as a pretty phrase, but as inner discipline. Because confidence does not come before action. Confidence is the byproduct of those who keep going when stopping would be more comfortable. Every real change starts with resistance. Not external resistance, internal resistance. Days when nothing seems to move forward, when effort gives no answer back, when progress exists but still does not show. That is where most people fail. The mind questions, the body feels heavy, doubt grows, and almost everyone makes the same mistake. They read that friction as a sign of inability. They confuse the weight of the process with a lack of ability. They give up not because they reached their limit, but because they decided too early that it was not for them. The Stoic does not use discomfort as a compass. He understands that every kind of growth requires crossing a zone of instability. Resistance is not a warning to pull back. It is the confirmation that something inside is being rebuilt. Those who grow endure that friction without turning every difficulty into identity. Believing in yourself is not positive thinking. It is not betraying yourself when the mind starts negotiating surrender. It is moving forward even when the inner voice says you are not enough, that you should already be somewhere else by now, that maybe you took the wrong path. Epictetus was direct. The greatest harm someone can suffer does not come from the outside. It happens when the person abandons their own judgment. When that happens, you stop steering your own life and start reacting to fear, to your surroundings, to pressure. From that point on, you shrink. You choose less. You risk less. You live below what you could sustain. Forcing yourself to believe in yourself is setting a clear rule, not changing direction every time the path demands firmness. Doubt will show up. Fatigue will come. The urge to go back to the familiar will call. But you do not tear down your entire build just because the process got uncomfortable. Picture someone crossing a storm out at sea. Whoever tries to turn back in the middle gets lost. Whoever holds the course, even with fear, finds a way out. Believing in yourself is not eliminating fear. It is not putting it in charge. Most people live stuck because they react to everything. They slip up and pull back. They get criticized and shut down. They feel discomfort and freeze. That is why they spend years preparing for a life that never really begins. Believing in yourself is treating failures as part of the training, falling without concluding that you are weak, slipping up without turning the slip-up into a label. Those who trust themselves do not spare themselves from the process. They are just inside it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that what stands in the way of action, in truth, strengthens the action. The obstacle does not block, it reveals. But only those who stand by their own decision can see this. Those who do not stand by it turn every difficulty into a final sentence. In practice, this takes posture. Stop asking for permission. Stop measuring every step by the reaction of others. Hold steady even when there is no immediate return. The path is not held up by validation, it is held up by integrity. Forcing yourself to believe in yourself is waking up every day with a non-negotiable deal. I am committed to my own growth. It does not matter if the step forward is small. What matters is not breaking the process. With time, that posture creates something rare. Inner coherence. You start to trust yourself because you see yourself doing what you said you would. And whoever builds coherence does not accept living below their own level. Marcus Aurelius said that human dignity is born when a person does not abandon themselves in the face of their own difficulties. When you sustain the process, something organizes itself on the inside before any change shows up on the outside. Confidence stops being a speech and turns into a natural consequence. To seal this as a commitment, write in the comments a short sentence just for yourself. I stand by my process. May that phrase mark the point where you stop testing your own capacity and start honoring in silence the decision to grow, even without guarantees, even without an audience, even when no one is confirming that you are right. Principle 2. Make progress without announcing it. Disappear from the stage, not from the purpose. Have you ever noticed how today everyone wants to look like they are growing, but almost no one is really evolving on the inside? We post books, powerful quotes, workouts, but when our head hits the pillow, we know we could be going deeper, with more consistency and less distraction. Maybe that is the discomfort you feel, tired of showing movement, but feeling little real progress. When I say grow in private or disappear for a while, it is not about walking away from the world, deleting your social media, or isolating yourself from everyone. It is something else. It is stepping out of the display window and going back into the workshop. It is no longer living as if every step needed to be seen, commented on, and validated. In the window, everything is appearance. In the workshop, everything is work. Marcus Aurelius, who was an emperor, wrote, "Everything done out of vanity is already corrupted from the start. When the focus shifts to applause, the process rots." How many things in your life do you do more to show off than to actually live? As long as you want to grow while being watched all the time, you will sabotage yourself because chasing validation pulls you to the surface, and real growth happens in the depths where no one applauds. Instead of studying with focus, you think about the screenshot. Instead of training truly present, you think about the photo afterward. It is like trying to build a house while staring at the facade the whole time, while the foundation stays weak. Whoever builds to be seen puts walls up quickly, but never creates a base. You become an actor in your own life, and not the lead, and that wears you out. It is tiring to have to look strong the whole time, while on the inside, you know you are still rebuilding yourself. Stoicism points to another path, the path of silent construction. Epictetus said, "If you want to make progress, be willing to look foolish in some things." In other words, be willing not to show everything, be willing not to look strong all the time. Growing invisible is putting up with the ego screaming for applause and, even so, continuing to do what is right, even if no one is noticing. Maybe you feel behind, comparing your life with people who seem to be years ahead of you, but think honestly. How much time do you lose trying to keep an image always available, always online, always explaining what you are doing? Growth requires focus. And focus requires disappearing from empty conversations, from drama that is not yours, and from rooms where you have to play a character. Disappearing bothers the ego. When you post less, show up less, thoughts come up on their own. They are going to forget me. They are going to think I failed. Seneca warned, whoever lives by the opinion of others is a prisoner of all. As long as you depend on that approval, you will stay trapped by it. Growing invisible is saying, I do not need them to understand right now. I need this to truly exist. Picture yourself consciously deciding to pull back a little. It is not disappearing on a whim. It is stepping away to align yourself. Less exposure, more construction. Less announcing, more routine. Instead of saying, I am going to change, you simply change without grand speeches, without empty promises. Just you, your discipline, and the silent commitment to whoever you decided to become. Hold on to this. You do not need to be seen to be evolving. The real measure is not how many people notice your change, it is how different you are when no one is watching. If today you decide to turn down the noise and turn up the quiet work, a while from now you will not need to explain anything. Your presence will deliver what you built in the dark. Now I want you to make a commitment to yourself here in the comments. Write it like this: I will grow invisible. It is not just a phrase, it is a stance. It is you saying that you are willing to step out of the display window and go back to building your own life with less noise and more truth. Principle 3. Action speaks louder than promises. Have you ever noticed how we are experts at making promises? Tomorrow I'll do it. This time for sure. Monday I'll get started. Next month I'll change. And deep down, you can no longer stand to hear your own promises. It is not even that other people don't believe in you. It is you who no longer believes in yourself because you have seen this movie far too many times. A powerful speech, energy through the roof, a perfect plan, and then, after a few days, everything goes back to the old pattern. It is like stretching a rubber band. While you pull it, it looks like progress, but when you let go, everything snaps right back to the exact same place. Promising without acting is just that, motion without progress. When we talk about fewer promises, more execution, it is not only about talking less, it is about rebuilding the relationship you have with your own word. Epictetus said something that, in a nutshell, goes like this: do not explain your philosophy, live by it. In other words, stop announcing that you are going to change. Be the change. Do not talk about what you believe. Show it in the way you live. The way I see it, every broken promise is an enormous risk. You are slowly teaching your brain that what you say is not serious. Every time you say, this time for sure, and you don't follow through, you tear off a piece of your own inner credibility. And after a while, you start something already doubting yourself. That is not bad luck. That is a track record. The Stoics were almost obsessive about this, consistency between word and action. Seneca said that the true philosopher is recognized more by his deeds than by his words. There is no point in talking about self-control and living by blowing up at everything. There is no point in talking about focus and living distracted by every little thing. There is no point in teaching finance classes and living every month in the red. At the end of the day, life does not listen to what you say. It reacts to what you do. And why do we make so many promises? Because promising gives a false sense of progress. When you say, tomorrow I'll start working out, or this month I'll start investing, your brain already releases a small dose of relief, as if something had been done. It is like writing down a task and feeling satisfied before you have even carried it out. An elegant form of self-deception. You feel responsible, organized, committed, but nothing has actually changed. Pay close attention to what I am saying. The Stoic path here is direct and even a little harsh. Say less than you intend to do and do more than you say. In practice, how does this work? Stop announcing the entire plan. You do not need to tell everyone that now you are going to study so many hours a day, that you are going to wake up at such and such a time, that you are going to completely change your life. Every time you turn your goal into a speech, you spend energy that should be going toward action. The Stoics did not write about discipline to earn applause. They wrote to remind themselves of what they needed to do. The focus was always, how do I act on this? Start testing out silence. Decide something and keep it to yourself. Instead of posting projects coming soon, make the project happen. Instead of saying, I'm going to disappear and focus, simply disappear and focus. Shrink the size of the promise. Increase the consistency of the action. You do not need to promise that you are going to turn into a different person in 30 days. Instead of saying, I'm going to work out for 2 hours every day, decide, over the next 7 days, I will not skip my workout even if it is only for 20 minutes. That is far more stoic. A concrete goal, short, doable, something your mind can count on because it knows exactly what to do. That is you taking action, leaving no room for doubt, laziness, or stagnation. It is in the repetition of this kind of action that you rebuild your confidence in yourself. Fewer motivational phrases, more tangible commitment. Trade "I'm going to" for "I did." Run a test on yourself. Instead of saying, I'm going to read 1 book a month, only speak up when you have finished it. Instead of saying, I'm going to wake up early for a week, and then, if you want, mention it. You shift the focus from the imagined future to the realized present, and that changes the way you see yourself. You stop being the king of the plan, and you become the person who gets things done. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself every day, not to be admired but to hold himself accountable. Do not talk about character, build your own, be the example you keep explaining. That is brutal, it is dry, but it is liberating. Instead of crafting a thesis about the kind of person you want to be, start acting like that person in the small things of today. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong twice. First, they promise too much, then they fail, and then they use guilt as a weapon against themselves. Use guilt in your favor, not against yourself. Have you broken promises before? Of course. Everyone has. The difference is not in the failure, it is in what you do with it. The Stoics did not waste time beating themselves up. They observed the failure, understood where they slipped, and adjusted their behavior. No drama, no internal soap opera, no, I'm just not cut out for this. It was simpler. I messed up here. What can I do differently tomorrow? So, instead of an inner monologue along the lines of, I'm a failure, think, I overdid the promise. Next time, I'll promise less and act more. Make your word sacred to you. Imagine if everything you said to yourself carried the weight of a contract. If you say, I'll do it, you do it, period. Even if it is in the last minute of the day, even if you are tired. That is one of the most profound acts of self-respect, not abandoning what you decided just because your mood changed. That is what it means to be stoic today. It is not memorizing quotes. It is being able to trust your own word. That gives you a quiet strength. You do not need to justify yourself. You do not need to make promises. You simply live in a way that over time people notice. When this person speaks, they follow through. So if you are tired of being the this time for sure person who never comes through, this is the moment to flip the script. Starting today, promise less. Commit to fewer things, but carry them out with all the seriousness you can muster. Let the results pile up. Let the facts do the talking. The Stoics would do exactly this. Less stage, more practice. This decision changes the way you stand before life. You stop fooling yourself, you stop sabotaging yourself, and you start trusting what you tell yourself. Fewer promises, More execution creates focus, self-respect, and real results. That is how you build inner strength, by doing, not by announcing. Principle 4. A disciplined mind and body. A lot of people talk about discipline as if it was something distant, heavy, almost like a prison. But to be honest, the real prison is exactly the lack of discipline. It is waking up tired of your own body. It is realizing that the mind runs loose, like a horse without reins, always carrying you to the same places. It is knowing exactly what needs to be done, and even so, finding yourself repeating habits that weaken you. And what hurts the most is not ignorance, it is awareness. You know what you have to do. What is missing is not information, it is consistency. When we talk about a disciplined mind and body, we are not talking about becoming an elite athlete, nor about living like an isolated monk. We are talking about something much simpler, and at the same time, much rarer. Becoming someone who does what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like it. The logic is straightforward. If you do not have at least some control over what you eat, what you take in with your eyes, what you feed your mind, and how you treat your own body, the world will do it for you. Advertising decides what you eat. The algorithm decides your mood. Your addictions decide your pace. The people around you decide your limits. Discipline is not rigidity, it is self-defense. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, who had enough power, comfort, and status to give himself over to taking the easy road, wrote to himself, "Toughen up. You were not born to be coddled." He was not talking about becoming cold or insensitive, but about building an inner foundation firm enough not to crumble in the face of any difficulty. And that foundation rests on two pillars that feed each other all the time: a trained mind and a trained body. When one weakens, the other feels it. Let us start with the body. There is nothing shallow about taking care of your body. What is shallow is using your body only as a display case. The way I see it, the body is the house where the mind lives. If that house is weak, messy, and neglected, no matter how much you want to think well, work well, and live well, everything becomes harder. Training is not just about looks. It is about respect. Respect for yourself and for the years you still want to live with quality. A lot of people say, "I do not have time to train," but they spend hours draining their energy on distractions that give nothing back. The issue is almost never time. It is priority. And disciplined training is not the perfect day, with high motivation and ideal conditions. It is precisely the ordinary day. The day when you are tired, the weather is bad, the desire is gone, and even so, you go. Not because you are excited, but because you decided that this is part of who you are. It is like brushing your teeth. You do not negotiate, you simply do it. The Stoics summed this up in a simple expression: endure and abstain. Endure the discomfort. Abstain from what weakens you. In practice, that is getting up when the body wants to stay down, finishing the set, when the mind starts negotiating a shortcut, and walking away from the workout, knowing that you won an inner conversation. Now, the mind. If you do not train your mind, it uses you. And that is more common than it seems. Racing thoughts, constant anxiety, emotional outbursts, chronic procrastination, all of that grows when you never stop to observe what is happening in there. A disciplined mind is not a perfect mind. It is an observed mind. It is being able to say, "I am feeling lazy, but I am not obligated to obey it. I am afraid, but I will not bow to that fear." And how do you train the mind? There is no magic trick. There is daily practice. Read something that is not just entertainment. Create moments of silence. Write down what you think. Question your own reactions. Set limits on yourself before life sets them for you. Seneca said something that fits perfectly here. The wind blows for everyone, but only those who have direction get anywhere. An undisciplined mind is just like that. It is carried away by any wind, any distraction, any impulse. A disciplined mind does not stop feeling, but it learns to steer its own boat. And here comes a crucial point. There is no strong mind that can be sustained by a neglected body for long. You may be able to hold on for a while, but the bill always comes due. Irregular sleep, chaotic eating, a sedentary life, all of that affects your mood, your clarity, and your energy. At the same time, caring only for the body and abandoning the mind turns you into a beautiful cocoon with a fragile interior. The Stoics sought balance, the body as the instrument, the mind as the commander. Discipline, in the end, is not something that falls from the sky. It is identity. It is to stop treating yourself like someone fragile, not in the sense of judging yourself, but of respecting yourself. It is starting to see yourself as someone capable of keeping your own word. Discipline is not force, it is inner silence, less negotiation, fewer excuses, less mental wear and tear. Those who do not have discipline fight with themselves all day long. Those who do, decide once and move on. That is what wears down your resistance. One of the most profound acts in Stoicism is exactly this, making your inner word trustworthy. If you say you're going to train today, you train. If you say you're going to study for 1 hour, you study. Little by little, you prove to yourself that you can count on you. Want something really practical? Stop thinking about changing your whole life. Think about today, just today. There is a simple metaphor that some coaches use with high-performance athletes, the chain. Each day lived with discipline is a link. You do not build the whole chain all at once. You just do not break today's link. Tomorrow is another link. The day after tomorrow, another. The mistake most people make is trying to picture the whole chain and feeling crushed by the weight of it. The mind panics, the body resists, and the person gives up before even starting. Discipline works differently. You do not ask whether you will be able to keep this up for months. You ask, what can I do today, right now, that keeps this link intact? It is not about a perfect workout. It is about not resetting the counter to zero. It is not about studying for hours. It is about not letting the day go by empty. A disciplined day seems small on its own, but that is how a whole identity is built. People who grow do not wake up motivated every day. They simply refuse to break the chain. You do not need to win the week. You need to honor the day. And when the day ends, you do not need applause. You look back and you know today's link is solid, without announcing it, without seeking applause, without doing personal marketing. You simply follow through. That is when the mind and the body begin to line up. You think less, you decide with more clarity, and you carry it out without so much inner noise. Deep down, discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. Freedom from being a hostage to laziness, to compulsion, to anxiety, and to other people's opinions. And that is one of the most sincere forms of self-love. Taking care of yourself today so that your tomorrow self does not have to live putting out fires. To lock this in, write in the comments, today I will not break the chain. Not as a pretty phrase, but as a silent commitment. One day, one link, and an identity being built. Principle 5. Build value, not appearance. Have you ever stopped to think about how much of your life today is appearance and how much of it is real value? Not just on social media, but in everything. In the way you talk, in the clothes you wear, in the way you express opinions just to seem interesting or smart. We live in a time when looking the part scores points, but almost nobody talks about the price it charges you later. When life gets hard, when something truly goes wrong, appearance solves nothing. What solves things is who you have become on the inside. It is your preparation, your structure, your ability to hold up under pressure without falling apart. The Stoics were never worried about seeming wise. They wanted to be wise. There is an idea that runs through all of Stoic philosophy. Before you try to impress, become someone useful. And maybe that is exactly what bothers you today. You feel like you show off a lot, but deep down, you know you could be stronger, more prepared, more profound than you are right now. Building value, not appearance, is flipping that switch. It is stepping out of the notice me mode and into the I deliver mode. Value is not what you show off. Value is what you can endure. It is what you know. It is what you do when the situation gets tough and nobody is watching. Value is what remains when they take the phone out of your hand, when the status, the applause, and the outside validation are gone. Appearance is the profile. Value is the character. Seneca spoke of people who collected books but never read them. Today, the collection is even emptier. Photos with books that were never opened, deep quotes that were never put into practice, pretty speeches with nothing to back them up. That does not build you. It only builds a persona. And the problem with living as a character is that at some point life demands the real version. And if that version does not exist, everything falls apart. So, how do you actually start to build real value? By stopping the constant need to prove yourself. Every time you do something just to show off, you throw your focus outward. Instead of asking yourself, is this making me better? You start thinking, I wonder if people will think this is cool. Switch that question. Every time you are about to make a decision, think honestly. Does this increase my value or just my image? If it is only image, cut it or cut it back. If it is value, face it head on, even if nobody sees it. Value is born from depth, not from shallowness spread across everything. Instead of being decent at 1,000 things, choose a few areas to become truly competent in. Your work, your health, your mind, your relationships, your growth. Epictetus used to say that there is no point in speaking beautifully about philosophy if you cannot take a single piece of criticism without falling apart. There is no point in talking about discipline if you cannot keep a simple routine for 30 days. There is no point in talking about inner peace when the smallest thing already robs you of it. Either the words become behavior or it is just appearance, and appearance does not solve real problems. Value shows up when, in a real situation, you make a difference. When somebody needs help and you have the knowledge, the strength, the calm, and the emotional structure to carry that moment. It is not just about being nice. It is about being firm, steady, and reliable. Musonius Rufus, one of the great Stoic teachers, insisted on this. Philosophy is not meant to sound deep. It is meant to make life better for the people around you. Ask yourself honestly, am I someone others can rely on when things get hard? If the answer is still not really, that is exactly where you need to work. Invest more in the things you cannot post. The most valuable things in your life almost never make for good stories. Sleepless nights studying something difficult, workouts nobody filmed, honest conversations where you admit your mistakes, hard decisions made in silence. That is how you set yourself apart. While so many people build their identity on top of a filter, you build yours on top of scars, lessons, and consistency. And there is one more essential point. Value can stand silence. Appearance needs a stage. If you panic when you are not being seen, be careful. Maybe you are addicted to being seen, not to growing. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every single day, do what is right. The rest is just noise. That is what building value is. Choosing what is right even when nobody sees it, even when nobody applauds, even when it looks dull to those on the outside. Now I want you to bring this into your own life in a practical way. Where are you selling appearance today, knowing you should be building value, but you keep dragging your feet? To seal this commitment to yourself, write in the comments, from today on, I choose to build value, not appearance. It is simple, but it is powerful. It is you declaring out loud that you are tired of living behind a facade and that you have truly decided to become someone solid on the inside, not just convincing on the outside. Principle 6. Become dangerous in silence. When you hear the phrase, "be dangerous," you might picture someone aggressive, full of swagger, with a tough guy stance, a loud voice, a puffed-out chest. That image is common, but it's shallow. The thing is, that kind of danger is fragile because it depends on a stage, on an audience, on witnesses. It exists only as long as someone is giving you attention. When I say be dangerous without being seen, I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about being someone so prepared, so steady on the inside, so much in command of yourself that you become hard to knock down, manipulate, or control. Dangerous here doesn't mean being violent. It means being resilient. It means being hard to break. The Stoics wanted exactly this kind of strength. Seneca used to say that whoever governs himself on the inside is free on the outside. Think about the weight of that. It's not about owning others. It's about owning your reactions, your decisions, your impulses. It's the difference between reacting like a reflex and acting like someone who is aware. This is the kind of person the world doesn't control easily. Such a person isn't swayed by just any opinion, any compliment, or any criticism. They don't live as a hostage to the need to show off, nor to the craving for approval. They live guided by principles. The world underestimates whoever seems ordinary, and that is a silent advantage. We see the opposite all over the place. People who strain to look strong, they force their posture, they force an angry face, they force a confident speech. It's like a plastic suit of armor. It impresses from a distance, but it cracks at the first impact. All it takes is one no, one criticism, or one failure, and it crumbles on the inside. That fake, dangerous talks loud, but it can't take much. On the other hand, there are people who talk little, observe a lot, don't show off, don't need to prove anything to anyone. They don't draw attention until the moment life puts on the pressure. That's when they reveal themselves. They stay calm, clear-headed, centered, while everyone else falls into despair. It's like a trained pilot in the middle of turbulence. While the passengers panic, he keeps his hand steady on the controls. These people are dangerous in the best sense of the word. No one imagined the strength they carried until it became necessary to show it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock against which the waves break, standing firm until the fury of the waters settles down around you." The rock doesn't argue with the waves. It doesn't shout that it's strong. It simply stays put. This is the kind of firmness you need to go after. To be the kind of person who, when everything is chaotic, doesn't automatically jump into the mess. Who thinks before acting, who feels but doesn't surrender to the feeling, who doesn't mistake emotional intensity for truth. The way I see it, someone truly dangerous is someone who has options. Whoever has options doesn't kneel out of desperation. It's someone who takes care of the body and, because of that, isn't a prisoner of constant laziness. Someone who trains the mind and, because of that, isn't dragged along by just any thought. Who gains knowledge and, because of that, isn't fooled easily. Who has clear values and, because of that, doesn't sell out for crumbs. This kind of person, if they lose a job, doesn't consider themselves finished. They reorganize the route. If a relationship ends, they hurt, but they don't let that define their own worth. If they fail, they don't destroy themselves. They learn. This isn't coldness, it's emotional maturity. This is deeply Stoic. Epictetus would repeat that no one can truly harm you as long as you keep command of your mind and your judgment. The real danger, then, isn't in being feared by others, but in not offering yourself up as a ready-made victim. True greatness lies in doing good without seeking applause, and in staying upright without needing to be feared. You don't need to intimidate anyone. Your greatest threat is your stability. It's not playing the ego's game, not getting drawn into empty provocations, not losing yourself in petty competitions. It's staying whole. How do you become this kind of person in practice? There's no magic formula. It's the silent sum of correct choices repeated over time. You believe in yourself, you grow invisibly, you build value instead of appearance. You discipline mind and body, you talk less and execute more. It's like sharpening a blade every day, even when no one is asking to see it. This process, lived day after day, transforms you into someone who doesn't need to prove anything because they know who they are. Over time, people notice a different kind of calm in you. They notice that you don't react like before, that you don't panic easily, that you don't get into just any argument, that you don't corrupt yourself quickly. You keep getting more dangerous because you become rare. Honest in a world that bargains over everything, stable in a chaotic world, discreet in a world that shouts too much. This is a kind of power that makes no noise, but changes the rooms it's in. All of this is about working so seriously on yourself that one day your current version would be proud of who you became. You don't need to tell people you're getting stronger. Your bearing gives it away. You don't need to announce that you're more mature. Your choices show it. You don't need to say that you're different. Your presence changes the room. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best defense is to not let the evil of others become your own." This is the real danger. It's not about wounding. It's about not corrupting yourself. It's being so well structured on the inside that the chaos outside finds nowhere to take hold. If you truly understood, write in the comments, "I choose to be strong in silence." Whoever builds value doesn't need a stage. They need consistency. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments what resonated with you the most. Thank you for watching, and may the wisdom of the Stoics go with you until our next meeting at the Stoic House.